Nice. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's test out the lag here. Alright. Quite a lot. I mean, it's 10 seconds. It's better than it has been lately. We'll deal with it. We'll live with it. We'll live with it. Saul Goodman. Alright. What I do want to do is brighten up my audio a little bit, because I don't think it's terribly beautiful sounding, which isn't good. So how do we do that? We go filters. What have we got? We've got a compressor. Maybe it's the compressor that's not so good. Might just need a bit of an EQ on there as well. The problem is I can't actually hear the output on the stream, so I'm probably going to have to do this off stream actually. That's fine. Maybe I'll just have to deal with it for now. I'll just have to talk. And yeah, we'll deal with it. It's fine. Alright, so anyway, what I gotta do is not be in that Google account. That's me personal one. I want to be in the mess. How do I've actually got to like... Yeah. It's really hard to actually keep your accounts separate. Like, they do it by design that... I don't know, even though I'm not signed in on the same account in the browser, my Google still carries across, which is a real pain. I want to be able to actually completely ring fence it. And there probably is a way I can do that. I just haven't actually looked into it. Maybe I need to use a better, more secure browser. Who knows? Let's make a blank sheet here anyway and get started on this bad boy. So really what I want to do is I want to use the factory that I've started already to I want to use the factory I've started already to kind of break down the performance of it, and yeah, and get some numbers going here. Now the thing is, there's a lot of Satisfactory calculators out there. So Satisfactory calculator. Calculate your production. Okay, so this is satisfactorytools.com. Let's have a look at what is already out there. The thing is, I want to make this not just for Satisfactory. Like, oh shivers, they've updated it. Okay, that's interesting. So production, adaptive control unit, right? So say we want 10 items per minute. So they've done this is exactly the sort of thing that I want to build. Right, so it shows the entire chain up to and including this. So I basically want to make this, which seems weird because like it already exists. And this is cool because it tells you the power required as well. All of the items. This is very cool. I mean, the question is, you know, is this open sourced? And it is open sourced. And he has done a very good job. Done a very good job of it. So, am I just like going to be reinventing the wheel? And I've got nothing wrong with reinventing the wheel, right? I've had a lot of fun in my life reinventing wheels. But is this like, do I want to do this? Like, I really wanted to. So like if I add something else, right? So now if I go AI limiter, okay. So I've got these two things here. I've got these two visualizations. So there must be like a so he's got power and visualization separately. That's pretty cool. Recipes. This tool, pick the best possible combination. The problem is this guy's got so much of a head start on anything that I could do. But I mean, hey, has that stopped people before? And again, I got to look at this in terms of that I don't want to do it just for Satisfactory. So that's really cool too. Radiation, interactive. Yep. Supporters. It's in TypeScript. Issues. It's open source, which is what I want to do as well. Let's have a look. Data. Actually, what have I got my chat set to? I mean, my Twitch set to at the moment. I might have to adjust. Might have to adjust that. How do I edit my stream details? Boomer time. Stream manager panels. Oh, excuse me. Edit stream info. Edit stream info panel added. Save. Oh, this is so annoying, this little screen. Save layout changes. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if I stack them on top of each other, if that would actually be... No, that would actually... No, it probably wouldn't. Okay, so... Stream info. I can make the preview really small. In fact, I don't even really need the preview, to be honest. Stream info can... Oh, I see. Okay, I can just change it in the drop down. All good. Right, so I am currently in the Satisfactory category. I want to actually be in the software and game development category. So the other thing is I'm going to have to obviously play nice. Anyway. Alright. Source, data. Data. Added April. Added 1 point. Data.json. Let's have a look at sync points. Oh, that's in the, yeah. If we scroll down even more, that's a lot of data right there. But the thing is, I need to be able to make this customizable. So like there's going to be some sort of editor here which can, and we're going to have to abstract out all the names of stuff. Be nice to know where this came, like where the data actually comes from and stuff. Data 1.0.json. Is that any different? Yeah, these are huge files. Crazy. Recipe. Interesting. So I'm going to see, yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a, I'm making it, it's a different product. And I wonder if it has been, because this wouldn't have been, like, this guy hasn't made this for all games, I doubt. Let's have a look at his GitHub again. And look at Greenie here. We've got Satisfactory Tools, which is by far the largest repo on here. And that's it. So there's a whole bunch of forks. All right. Well, I think, okay, so I think we're onto something. We've got a... yeah, we've got to start somewhere. So Satisfactory 1.0. So let's have a look in the game. Let's load up the game.
Now, what's this? I mean, this looks like another Satisfactory, doesn't it? Exactly the same. So really what we've got to do is we just got to try. Alright. Okay, we'll close that off for now, who cares. Let's continue our game here for a while. So the games that I want to support, or try and support, are going to be quite numerous. So if I look into app design, oh, I've already done, okay. Production, center key, unlock, tree, power grid, future ideas. Minimum viable product, input and output rates. Okay, so we're gonna go... we'll call this feature list, I guess. Feature list. And in here we'll have... so created for Satisfactory, stationeers, Satisfactory stationeers. No, we'll go for, look, we'll go for the popular ones because that's what's gonna get this thing out there. Satisfactory Factorio. And we're going to do sub Nautica as well, which is a bit different because that's got a bit more of a story. So that's going to, yeah. Ow, just banged my head on there. Alright, so let's go grab some numbers and see what the story is. So for starters, like there's bushes, things like that, right? So like a bush, we get a certain amount of leaves. So if I pick up one bush, I get 6 leaves, 1 wood. 7 leaves, 1 wood. 11 leaves. So you could do like a minimum and a maximum, I guess. So there could be random, there could be like random numbers. General gameplay notes is what I want here. So we'll start off with Satisfactory, and we'll go like sometimes the randomness. Oh no, we'll just write it real clear. Randomness in harvesting, e.g. leaves wood from bushes. Right, so miners, so like we've got like miner mark 1, okay, so miner mark 1, does, is there any way I can make this like dark mode, because this just looks bad, I'm not. keen on burning my eyeballs. What the hell is a Looker Studio? Oh, okay, that's probably some AI thing. The game audio's really loud. I'll turn it down a little bit. Okay, there we go. There's got to be a freaking dark mode on here somewhere. Surely. Theme. Wait. It's the theme of my document, not the entire app. Does Google Sheets have dark mode? Oh, I'm getting distracted. This isn't good. Over the Google app settings, choose dark on an Android device. What about on web? Huh? Doesn't support a dark theme. Fine. Okay, I'll leave that in the past. And who cares? Minor Mark 1. So we're gonna go machine, and we are gonna go now. How do we? So basically, we're because how are you going to define a recipe? I mean, it could just be a simple string, I suppose. Anyway, our requirements, so it needs like 5 megawatt production rate, production unit. So this produces like every 2 seconds it produces 1 iron ore. And I don't know what that is. That's probably like the overclock rate or something. We're going to this doesn't have header, this doesn't have like, you can't, it doesn't have like a theme for the row like Office does, Microsoft. What about that? No, that's just color. I don't think it does, eh? Oh well. Yeah, I mean, maybe if I just go for old school bold, that's fine. No problem. So 30 per minute. 30 per minute, and we're going to see what this thing needs to make it. Miner Mark 1 needs a portable miner, iron sheets, and concrete. So it needs, I mean, perhaps like we could have, like, this is where a bit of perhaps this is where a bit of object orientatedness comes into play. You know what, maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should just do this in code. Maybe it's better than doing it in yeah, maybe it's better than just doing it in, yeah. I wonder if there's a really quick way I can just like compile and run the app in the command line. So like if I just went Dart main, what's going to happen there? Could not find file. Oh, lib. Oh, not source, you dork. I've never... I wonder what this does. Alright, well, anyway, what I'm going to do is... not available on this platform. Yeah, sure. New file. We'll just go test.dart. And we'll call this like... We'll give it a main function, right? And then we'll just go print hello world. And we'll go dart run test.dart. And we get hello world. Perfect. Okay, so we know that that works. So we can do some stuff in here like class. We can do like a class juicer. And we can do like a I'm already okay. So we could do something like a producer is a machine or a thing which can produce one or more resources. So then we're going to have class. We're going to have a what do we call it? Material? No, we'll call it a resource because a resource is pretty. A resource is like in Satisfactory. A resource is like our ore. In fact, a resource could be anything because in this case a resource is a product as well, or is products. So we've got concrete, we got the portable miner and the iron plates. In fact, all three of those are them. So maybe that's not so much a class, it's more like a what I call it in PHP, like a trait, but in Dart it would be a mixin, it would be an interface, like an abstract class perhaps. We'll just do a rough diagram for now. So abstract class, and then I guess then we can call it like a consumable, which can be consumed by a producer, perhaps. For example, let's have a look, and we're going to flesh this out as time goes. So we're going to go to like a miner which produces iron ore. Consumable as a resource, for example, this is going to be a no. Like an iron ore can be consumed by a smelter. That's what I mean. And in this case, like iron rod can be consumed by an constructor. Class. So class, what we want to do is like maybe a pathway or something like that. So a pathway is a connection between two other objects. It can carry one or more resources at a given rate, at a certain rate. So for example, a satisfactory conveyor belt for a train track. Okay. So I guess like a container. So class container would actually would a container be a producer? That's the thing. Like, you could extend producer, but I don't think so, because containers don't need extras. Might be, but not necessarily a producer. Okay. Something that can store items. For example, a storage container, a train car, certain producers and pathways. And we're also going to have so I've got this thing called a transformer. I called it a transformer there. Class resource. I mean, really what I'm doing here in the end is this is kind of a framework for any kind of game like this. Like, you could actually build like a game on top of these classes anyway. But really what I want to do is I just want to get this working really buttoned down for Satisfactory first. So yeah, so like certain properties that these things can have, like so what's the difference between this, a resource, and a consumable? So some of these things might actually be more like, they might be more mix-ins, but I don't think you can have dynamic mix-ins in a in Dart. So maybe we call that like a logistic pathway. So maybe then we have like the music's a little bit loud again, right? So we could have like a could be a base resource like that. We're going to have a class. We're going to have a consumption rate. This is kind of a so can items be instantiated by themselves? I mean, why not? Maybe. So we could put some properties in here, like that. And then we could have how to produce a how to produce a so we've got like consumable all right. The kind of unlocks is the other thing that we need as well. So maybe we could call it like craftable, unlockable. I mean, this is something I don't actually know with Dart is dynamic mixins. Dart. So, how to produce an item. The rate at which an item is produced by a producer. The rate at which a consumable is consumed by a producer. A consumable is an item which can be consumed by a producer. An item that can store other items. And so like a container, for example, we could have like a ideas. We could have like a white list, blacklist, max number of items, max number of items that could be stored. We could have max weight of items that could be stored. We could have max volume of items that can be stored. So there's like different container types. So there's different types of containers. What about mixed? Oh dear. A producer is a machine is a producer is an item which can produce one or more items. So what we're going to do is basically instantiate these classes from a JSON data file. So if I went like new file, sorry, if I went maybe let's go to, what do we call this? Like, we're going to have classes and objects. call them like game objects maybe. And then we'll create another folder called data, and in the data here we'll create a new file and we'll call that like we'll call it so YAML, right? YAML can okay, standard YAML does not include JSON has the same limitations. Yeah, right. So how are we going to store it? Are we going to do it as JSON, or are we going to do it as YAML? I mean, YAML is more human readable. XML is another possibility. So really, I mean, XML, let's see if, I mean, there's got to be some extensions in here for XML. XML language support, XML tools, very close. In terms of number of installs. What does this one look like? XML tree view. Okay, I mean, does this have a tree view? Because that would be nice. Foldings. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna try this one. I'm gonna try this one. Screw you, Red Hat. You and your enterprise. enterprise craziness and your Linux. All right, so let's give XML a go. I've shied away from this for so long. Let's call it maybe, we're going to call this like, producers. Okay, so there was this, we got Codium. Where is my XML plugin at? XML document, there it is. Invalid document. So what makes a valid you got to define document type definition or XML schema associated with it. Okay, that's interesting. Alright, so this is how it doc type document element which contains a document contains a greeting and a message. A greeting contains, what's the hell is that? I just this is like might be too much to learn. DTD, document type definition. To be of type PC data. What the heck is PC data? Parsable character data. Okay, fair enough. Creating DTDs might be a waste of time. Yeah, I mean, we could come back and do it later. Because, like, defining the schema right from the outset is going to be wild. So, let's call this, like, a producer. Is valid, is a valid XML element. Can they start? Can they start? Must start with a letter or underscore. Element names are case sensitive. Naming conventions. Be consistent about your naming style. Alright. Well, I mean, what we could do is we could match it to the code, right? We could do like a producer and we could go produce a list. Close that off. Why isn't it doing that automatically? It should. Auto format. Is there a way I can like auto format on save? you know. The resource definitely extends item. Name. We'll go, we'll go this description for now, but we'll just keep it simple. Because really all I need to do is get a proof of concept going here. So we're going to go class resource extends item, resource yes, so we can't I just do super dot name? And super description? I can. Okay, well that's good. That's less typing. Less verbosity. It's a bit tidier. Right, so all of these things are items. Now, everything is an item here, but a producer, like, isn't necessarily a resource. So, how are we gonna structure this class structure? Like it's almost like a relational database structure without IDs. I suppose, like, a producer, if a producer is also a resource, that's fine. It's all going to be, like, self-contained. So an example of this would be a portable miner, which is also a resource. So a producer is both an item, so it's definitely an item, always an item. Everything is an item. Something. Item's probably a bad like thing to call the class. We like should be like nameable or something like that instead. But anyway, whatever. Is there a way to like turn off a power network? I mean, I might have made a mistake by doing that. Everything's ground to a halt now, which is quite nice. Peaceful. I like that. Alright, let's close off this side for now. That's probably a little bit of... I want to be able to hide this taskbar as well. This taskbar's starting to get annoying. There we go. Alright, so... Oh, this is better. This is way better. I can actually sort of make sense of what's going on here. Abstract class consumable. It's more of like a... Yeah. It's more like a, it's more like a... It's more like maybe this is going to be a mix-in. Like, we'll come back. We'll come back to that. So we've got the item, we've got the resource, extending the item. And we've got the producer. So all of these extend item. I mean, we just need to do that for everything. A consumable is an item. Is it though? Like... a producer may have a one or more recipes, one or more consumables, and may even be one or more resources. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have a set of these things. Oh, actually, now that's actually a good point. The AI beat me to it. And so we've almost got to define a recipe here as well. And a recipe is like, no, we've already got that. How to produce an item. So a recipe is going to be like, so a recipe input, and we're going to have a recipe output. I actually think that, okay, yeah, so one recipe has potentially multiple inputs at a given rate and multiple outputs at a given rate. We'll see if this is We'll see if this is enough. So let's see what AI suggests for us here. Don't freaking lazy AI sometimes, I swear to God. So consumption rate is going to be like this dot base value required this dot multiplier required this exponent. Interesting. Okay, we'll roll with that, whatever. Base value, and then we'll go oh, this is tough. Like, I can see how this already gets confusing, but this is pretty fun, like breaking this down into, because I feel like, I mean, the thing about doing this as well is like one day I do want to make a game of my own, right? So who doesn't? So like a logistic pathway is also an item as well, right? For sure. Um, I haven't made any of these like final or anything yet because I'm thinking some of these might be constant, you know. And I mean actually mutable classes can run into problems anyway. So maybe like consumption rates and stuff are modifiable. So I know you can set, like, you could make this final, and then, but you can still operate on the properties of the consumption rate. You just can't reset the consumption rate to something different. So we could think about that as well. So resource. So we could think of things like or a derived one like iron rod. So this could have recipes as well, right? So maybe not. So like if that is null, then or just falls out of the sky. Let's go with that. Let's go with the AI suggestion there. I like it. If recipes is non-null, then this is a derived resource. So now this is how we've got to think about the class structure here. There's this thing called like dependency inversion. So it's almost like you're pushing up the big things into the little things above. So perhaps like this resource could be like producers, right? So what produces I gotta the recipe to build this producer. So recipes have the consumables, right? Any additional consumables needed to run this producer. Any additional resources need to run this. See, do we need that? Like, so we could do a getter here. So like this is what does it produce? So all the possible things that it could produce is actually defined by the things it produces. So it actually looks at resources and it goes, I mean, this could just have a production rate, right? This could be, Okay, if null, then it's a one-time producer, right? Maybe that works. Now, did I, like, put modifier in here or something? So, like, so... So we could have like a rate modifier. We could have multiple. We could just call this, actually, we can do, we call it like base rate. And then we got production rate as well, which is going to be very similar. We could just put like modifiers. I mean, so perhaps like, perhaps this is just a generic modifier, or it actually like, we could have like, see, like this is the danger about doing sets, because what if I did want, like, what if it could have more than one of the same thing? I feel like I'm backing myself into a corner there. I mean, this makes sense though, like a resource should only, like, there's no point having two producers. I don't know. I mean, we could always look at refactoring it later, but I feel like, so something like this rate modifier, for example, you might need two of the same item. So I'm just gonna put that in here. I'm just gonna go list. We're gonna go list of item, which is actually going to be not required. So I don't actually, okay, look, thanks AI, but I'm not going to guess what you're trying to mean by exponent. We're going to go down a different path here. Oh. So rate modifier this, multiply this items. So, I mean, this is where being able to, because like, okay, so a mix-in, right? So if we, let's have an experiment with this. So if we do a mix-in unlockable, okay, and let's say all unlocked. Yeah. I didn't think you could do that. Mixins can't declare constructors, right? So what's the deal with mixins? A non-nullable instance field unlocked must be initialized, or a generative constructor that initializes, or mark it late. But late implies final, right? So maybe that's okay. So we go like with unlockable. Actually, you know what? Oh, no, we will. We'll go with unlockable, because a rate modifier is not actually necessarily an item. An item is potentially unlockable. So we could actually move the mix in. We could move the mix in up to the top here. All right. Producer consumables must be initialized. So I guess that's required then. Required. This recipe is required. It's consumables. I mean, because the thing is, it could be an empty set, right? So we don't actually need to make it. We don't actually need to make it nullable. The only thing is if like, I think we should. No, actually, we'll keep recipes as nullable. If recipes is null, that implies it is, we'll say it is only produced by one or more natural producers. So, okay, so, right, I think I'm seeing a flaw here. How do we map the recipes to the producers? Yeah, how do we do that? How do we map recipes? The producer has a list of recipes. Well, yeah. So okay, let's test out the AI here. Let's give Codium a little bit of a run for its money, right? Let's have a chat to Codium. So, all right. So I've got a problem here where a resource might be produced by multiple producers and might be able to be made by multiple recipes, but maybe not all those recipes work with all the producers. So what would be a better way of defining this relationship? A new entry, a production method. The producer resource recipe production method. Hey, that's freaking awesome. I love that. Thanks, AI. That's wicked. All right. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe we call it method. Like, we'll just call that method there. And we'll go, that's obviously required. And, oh, so resource, maybe it could be methods, right? So we'll go production method. Production methods. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Good. So a production method is a way to produce an item. Now, recipe is not actually required. If recipe is null, it means it doesn't require a recipe. There's a way to produce an item. Nah, see, that's not right either. Recipe can't be null. We always need a recipe. What it is the inputs to the recipe that might be null. So So takes one or more recipe and one recipe output. If inputs is null, then this is reduced, then this can be produced for free. Yeah, so inputs is not required. Wait, does the consumption rate, it's actually the consumption rate that has the modifier on it, right? Yeah, it does. Okay. Interesting. Right, I see. So a natural producer... So this is going to be required this dot recipes. No, required super dot recipes. And then we have a rate, and the consumables may be nothing. Yeah. So we can initialize the consumables as nothing. Okay, well, let's have a little look here at... Right, so we had that issue that sometimes rates might actually they might actually fluctuate. So we could change base rate to like nominal. nominal rate, maybe. It's kind of like an average. I'm gonna get a drink. All right. Oh. Um. Itchy ear hole. And you hate that. Horse pat. Okay, whatever. He's mad at me now. Can't do anything about that. Okay, so the other thing we haven't done anything towards yet is conveyors as well, or like logistic pathways. So perhaps what we need to do is kind of need a almost like a base rate path. Like an item rate. Or just like a rate. We'll just call it a rate. And then we'll close that off. And then basically we can get rid of all of this. As this will now extends rate. So, and in order to do that, we're going to need to convert this to super, and that to super. Same with those. It's the super. Our rate is the at which something is consumed, produced, moved, etc. And so we're going to have this rate. Logistic pathway rate, do we really need to, I don't know, at this stage we'll just do that. The rate at which in items per second. Items per unit. See, we need a unit as well for rate. Like it's important. So, and that's going to be an enum. I mean, we can break out the enums here, I reckon. Beautiful enums. Enum. We're going to have like a we'll have like a rate unit. We'll have a time unit actually. And then what we could do is we could also do like we could go like double yeah. Go double. I'm pretty tempted just to switch categories here to like let's find like just chatting. So we could go for time unit we could go like double multiply by to get time unit other. It doesn't make a lot of sense though, because it depends what it depends what it depends what we are as well. Like, so I reckon we go int get base vector, and then that gives us like that's actually basically this code here, I think. Switch this. So if it's a second, it's 1. If it's minutes, it's 60. So it's all based on get the number of seconds, number of time unit dot seconds in this time unit. And so then what we could do is go double get factor. But no, that's not right either, because it's got to be divided by, right? So we look at this. If it's seconds, so if the case is seconds, then we're going to define return time unit dot. Oh, okay, that's just going to be 1. Let's just be honest here. Oh, actually, what is it? It's going to be time unit dot seconds dot base factor. So if this is seconds, oh, this is confusing. It's because this isn't supposed to be a getter. Time unit base factor divided by base factor. Yeah, that's more like it. So, like, say if we've got minutes and we want to get seconds, right? So we're going to go seconds here. So that's going to be 1 divided by 60. Yeah. Get the number of time units in this time unit. What? That doesn't make any sense. There's a given time unit. There we go. You got to help AI out now, and you know you got to hold its hand a little bit sometimes. It's okay. It's still learning. We all are. It's all good. All good. All good. All right. So, time unit. I reckon we can go back. We can go down even further. I reckon we can go milliseconds as well. And I reckon we use the base factor of that. 100 milliseconds? Nah, man. How many milliseconds? 1,000. The unit of time, 1,000th of a second. That's what I thought. Stupid thing. Like a decasecond, decisecond or something. The other. I don't bloody know, okay? Return minutes. So that is not going to be, that's going to be like 60 with 3 zeros on the end. Times 1,000. Times 1,000. Okay, so we're going to end up with a big number. This is quite a big number, alright? So, I mean, let's... Yeah, right. I recognize that number. Let's not do math here, okay? Let's just, like... 6 times 6 sixes is 36. 10 times 10 is 100. So that's going to be like 3,600,000. No. Is that right? I don't even bloody know anymore. So we got 1,000 per second, and we got, oh, moron. We got 1,000 of those, and we've got 60 of them in a minute, and we've got 60 of them in an hour. That did not work. I think we're right. 3,600,000, of course. I mean, look, I'm pretty sure that this is already built into Dart anyway, but whatever. The with some help methods, sure, because we're nice like that. We like to help out every now and then. With unlockable, so we need to define this kind of unlocks thing, right? Because yeah. Oh, this is tough. I don't quite know how to approach this. Because again, like I think pretty much anything can be unlockable. So like I think it's just an item. I think we just need to unlock an item. I think that's it. I don't think it needs to be anything too fancy. And I reckon like that almost comes before the item. I reckon. So class, we're going to call it like an unlock tree. Unlock tree. Is that good? Do we like that? Because you could have multiple dimensions of unlocking like you do in the game. So maybe unlocks. So how are we going to do this? It's going to be like some kind of a map. We're going to have like unlockables, and unlockables is going to be it's going to be a map of a string, and it's going to be like a unlock item. So an unlock item, I reckon all an unlock item is going to be is an abstract class, which so yeah, anything that is I wonder if we like make this a I wonder if we make that an int or a double. Yeah. I don't know. An item can be used. So anything that's an item is also an unlock item, right? By default. I mean, the containers are also an item, we know that. We can create the constructor for it. A consumable is also an item, but we did say maybe it could be a mix-in instead of a class. And crypto's going gangbusters at the moment. It's crazy. I was up with my Twitch. Weird. Being all twitchy. What bugs coming in my room yet? Not yet. Need a screen over my door so I can keep the door open and keep things cool in here. Alright. Consumption rate, recipe, production rate. With unlockable. Classes can only... Yeah, alright, well... So... Did I get rid of unlockable? I think I did, right? And pretty much... Yeah, if null this is always unlocked. That makes sense. So a rate modifier. Really tough to know when to use inheritance and interfaces and mix-ins sometimes. That decision can be kind of tough. I should put the coding languages in there, eh? Makes sense. I should get some more wine. All right, well we're getting there. I could do like I could do a bit of a class diagram perhaps. I suppose. We could go new draw IO diagram, and we're going to call it like for class game class diagram, and then we can maybe yeah, let's just start, see what happens. We got item. We're going to need these things side by side because I'm going to forget. There we go. Main.dart. Test.dart. Cool, cool. Is there a way I can hide these sidebars by any chance? I don't believe so. View. Yeah, that'll do. Make that a little bit. I'll probably get rid of the sidebar as well, actually. It'll give me a heap more room. Okay, so that's going to be an unlock. And then we're going to have an unlock item, which is actually abstract. Item implements that, and then unlockables. So this is going to have some properties in it. So there were, I'm pretty sure there's a way to do like a properties list actually. Like if we did this, and we go like maybe unlock, and then this is going to be unlockables. What we can do is drag off here, go like that. We can delete these rows. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I like that. So items, we're going to extend, and we're going to go to resource. Classic inheritance, really, some of this stuff. Resource, we should group all our items together, I reckon. So we've got container. Consumables, the only thing I haven't actually, maybe I could put them in alphabetical order. I mean, I've got to split these out into files anyway at some point, so. I haven't got as many items as I thought. Logistical pathway. So containers, so resource is an item, container, producer, natural producer. We'll go back here again as well. So we've got container, we've got logistic pathway. Maybe I should just call that pathway. I don't know. I mean, logistic pathway does disambiguate it a little bit, I guess. It's good. And then we've got producer, which also has a natural producer. So these can be all of these. Items can be all of these things. All right. And then we've got, separate to that, we've got rate, the base rate object, and then we've got production rate, and we've got consumption rate. And then we've also got a recipe, and a recipe has one or more recipe inputs and one or more recipe outputs. And then we also have something called a rate modifier, which can be applied in fact, you know, we've done this wrong, because that should be a list instead. So that's going to be production rate. That's going to be consumption rate. And that's going to have a rate. That's going to have like a... Oh no, my bad. So it's the modifier. And then we'll put rate modifier up here as well, I guess. So our production rate can be, and consumption rates can be modified by a bunch of different rate modifiers. So modifiers, and those modifiers might need to be unlocked. Modifiers. We'll get rid of these. Don't need. That could be applied, or production rate. Gonna swap those out. Visual diagrams. I am one of those programmers that I need to see my data structure in a diagram. Very visual person. I get very lost very quickly if I don't have it like that. So people are always like, you should be able to understand it by reading the code. And while I agree, I like to make life easy on myself as well. So I take the extra few minutes to draw, especially when I've got a bunch of different stuff going on. And it's a structure I'm not 100% familiar with yet. I like to draw diagrams. It helps. This plugin is the best. It is so good. Just draw.io for VS Code. It's better than the draw.io website. I don't know why. It just works better. It's nice. Actually nice to use. For this sort of thing, it's perfect. Alright, so now, our rate modifiers. That's another class that we had there as well, called rate modifier. And so it's going to be one or many of these guys. Because in Satisfactory, and I know a lot of other games, you can apply more than one modifier to a device, or in our case an item or a producer. Producer can have multiple modifiers applied to it. So a producer then is going to have a production rate and a consumption rate. Is that right? A producer, but it depends on the recipe. So it's actually the recipe that has, so the producer uses a recipe which takes inputs and outputs, and those inputs and outputs have consumption and production rates appropriately. So I think that was the way I was thinking about it. So we got a recipe there, and the recipe can have, again, I've done this wrong, that needs to be a list of things instead. So that's going to be recipe, and it's going to have its, what did I just call them, inputs and outputs? That makes sense, doesn't it? Or one output, actually. So we'll go inputs. Now I'm concerned about this. I don't want to over-engineer from the start. So generally speaking, and with Satisfactory, I'm pretty sure anyway, like if I look at one of my constructors here, this has just got one input, one output. If I go upstairs to my, go upstairs to my assemblers, these bad boys take in multiple inputs and a single output. Now, I thought there were things called manufacturers, but I guess I can't actually view those yet, so I could cheat and look it up, but I had a feeling that they actually have multiple outputs as well, so maybe I do need to allow for that. Exhaustion is not covered by the Fix-It Pioneer health plan. Fine. Fix-It is the most ethical company that I know of. Okay. Should I just do outputs? I'll just do outputs. The only thing is, though, I had this other class that I got the AI to help me with. Actually, it was this production method. That's what it was. Yeah, there's something missing. Okay, production method class. Now the production method class, it's like a many-to-many relationship. So production method, it needs a producer. So one resource can have multiple production methods. So you can make one item in a number of different ways from a number of combinations of different things sometimes. So that's what this production method allows for. Is that one resource can have many ways of production, and one way of production can produce many different resources. Depending on the machine, one machine might use concrete and steel in one way, one might use it in a different way. So producer, recipe, yep, and then we'll drag that out, go, oh, I have to arrange this nicely somehow, line things up, there we go, line that up. So the oh no, because the producer goes into there, and the recipe plugs into thusly. And then the, oh, no. We got input, recipe input, goes there, recipe output, which I guess, oh, I don't know, this is a class diagram, this isn't actually a production diagram, so the way that they relate, recipe inputs and outputs is kind of children of a recipe, they belong to a recipe. So, yep, that's great, things are happening. I love it when, like, you're doing stuff and the doing stuff outpaces your understanding of what you're actually doing. You're kind of just doing it on autopilot, but you're not actually, you're grasping on you're just holding on to the mental model. This isn't even complicated yet, geez. It is 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday, so that's probably not helping. Now we did say outputs here, didn't we? So this is going to be a bit tricky as well. I would say that the outputs are going to be pretty. Look, I got to move forward at some point, right? The issue I'm thinking is that the inputs and outputs could change with each other. So, like, the outputs might actually be not directly mapped to the inputs, but I can't think of a situation that does that right now, at least in Satisfactory. So if I get to some other games that treat things a little bit differently, then we'll have to revisit that. But oh, this is the jam going on in the background, 80s synthwave rock. Heck yeah. All right, onwards and upwards. We have this rate thing. So rate recipe input requires an item and a rate. So now we can do these fandangled joiner bar things here, which are really good. I think it's these ones, orthogonal. Yeah, that's the ticket that we want. The recipe input can be an item, much like a recipe output, and that item is consumed at a certain rate. So we have this rate tree here, which I could probably chuck over here or something. Make it look a bit weird. We'll kind of stack it like a... Oh, it's going to be around the other way, actually. We want consumption up the top, that down there. We'll align those up, and we'll see if we can make this look pretty. I'm not that convinced that I'm going to be able to, actually. I think I'm overthinking it. Maybe we just go like this, and then we get some angled lines. That might work. Go like this. There we go. Consumption rate. Consumption rate applies to inputs. Go back to straight lines again, I think. Consumption rates apply to inputs. Production rates apply to outputs. So recipe input, consumption rate, production rate. Oh, I did label them as such, so that's fine. Recipe input, consumption rate, production rate. And an item. I should probably split these into these list things as well. I should do it. Just to, you know, should do it. I'm so lazy. I don't want to. I don't want to do it. What is it? Item. Right. I will thank myself later when I have a good diagram. Recipe. Output. Item and rate. Okay, we're going to swap these around. So this is the rate. Goes there. That is the item. Which goes there. Oh, you can add. Whoa, that's cool. Oh, can you delete them? Like, delete? No, that deletes the entire line. I wonder if you can delete. Like if I drag this out like that, it does. Oh, that's clever. Ooh, that's nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Wow, that's so much better. I'm pretty sure, like last time I used Draw.io, you couldn't just click and drag on the line to reroute a line. That is so freaking handy. What the hell? I actually love it. But like if we want to make some nice, like, hey, we play Satisfactory here, so we're going to have nice, you know, nice looking conveyor belts going on between our data items. Keep it satisfying. The motto of the game. Keep it satisfactory. Alright, that's cool. So yes, so the production rate modifiers, it's going to be when I unlock this thing, and I can't remember how to unlock it. I should really keep my factory going. I should really actually start things producing to the next level. Got my assemblers ready to go up there to create the rotors. What I got in my notes over there, next focused on reinforced plates to update to Mark II logistics. Oh no, that's okay, yep. And next milestone. So many iron bars, need screws. Yeah, and I remember thinking I do need a lot of screws. Production-wise. Oh, but I'm supposed to be actually not playing the game. I'm supposed to be working on this app. Right. What I said I was going to do. So, got the game in the background. That's enough. Got this blasting 80s synthwave rock going as well, just keeping me motivated. Love it. I really want to run some stuff. I want to run some code, and I want to try some things. I want to get some math going now. I want to build a mock thing. Like I want to go over to a miner here, and I want to build my first producer, my first items in code, and I want them to match what this says. And maybe am I at the stage where I can do that? Maybe I am. I mean, everything seems connected. Maybe I should just trust. Maybe I should just, you know, just YOLO it or something. Just go for it. Got my time units. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky as well, because I need to come up with some sort of a data schema which is editable, dynamic, so people can add their own data payloads into the app and share them in a community way. For example, if somebody wants to expand this as a Factorio expansion and put that on like a marketplace or something online, or a Dyson Sphere program, or stationeers or anything else. It's just going to require the construction of a massive XML file and or files and uploading into the app. So is XML the way to go, or do I go down the JSON route? Dart works really well with JSON. I did consider YAML. There's JSON-P, which I actually can't remember the point of JSON-P, what that's supposed to be again. I need to look that up. I know these things exist. Hey, why don't we ask AI? That's a good idea. Let's just check in with our old friend ChatJupiter. See what happens. So like, I'm making an app for the game Satisfactory. No, I'm making an app for calculating it's bad. I don't even know how to ask a question. How to ask a freaking question. I almost just want to talk. Is there a way I can get is there a way I can get ChatGPT voice going here? I just want to talk to it because that's easier than trying to type. Maybe not. Ugh. Fine. Let me get my Zen question asking mode. I'm building a game calculator application which bases it, which helps players calculate the requirements for resources, their production lines, unlocking trees, and best efficiency. It uses the concept of a what's it called? Sankey is the name. Sankey diagram to split up resources to different sort of transformers, to products, to other transformers, etc., to reach an end goal. What I'm also wanting this to be customizable to different games. I'm building the first version based on the game Satisfactory, but some other examples are Factorio, what do we say, Dyson Sphere program, so many more. Oh, another one, Subnautica, etc. So I need a human readable but robust data structure that can be imported into the application either from a mod store or by a user themselves. What would be some data format options? Give me 5 examples with their pros and cons. Did I say what I'm producing this in? A game calculator application in Flutter in the Dart programming language. Okay, let's see what billions of dollars of NVIDIA GPU time in training, scraping the entire internet, can come up with. Let's go. Where did my sidebar go? Okay. Here are 5 data format options. JSON, wow. What a surprise. Yep. I mean, that was my first thought. Like, yeah, JSON. JSON, though, it's like curly braces everywhere. Quotes everywhere. Like, restrictions on ease. I don't know. It's okay, I guess. Yeah, limited schema validation, making it harder to catch structural errors, fair enough. Less efficient for deeply nested data. See, that's very true. And that, I think, is one of the bigger cons for me, is that this data structure is going to be pretty nested. So, lightweight, easy to upload and download, sure. Highly readable. I do like YAML for that. I've gotten more and more accepting of. I thought it was black magic when I first heard about it, that the indentation having to be so precise. But hey, we've got tools for that. That's what IDEs are for, right? Nested data ease. Handles deeply nested structures more cleanly than JSON. Now, I want to know why. Why does it think that? Why does it think that YAML handles nested data better? Because YAML doesn't have a native way to import other YAML files. So, yeah. And yes, I do like it. I just love how readable it is. It is beautiful. It is very, very readable. Indentation sensitive, we know that. That was my con that I set myself. Limited tooling. YAML support in Dart is less robust than JSON. True, but I bet there is, like, YAML Dart. ASA for YAML, there you go, 99% popularity. Oh, not as many likes as some of the other packages around. YAML ain't markup language. Yes, the recursive abbreviation like PHP. Load YAML to load a single document. Still doing fireworks out there. JSON encode. Wait, what? Load YAML doesn't support dumping to YAML. Does that mean writing to YAML? So this is only a one way, this is only loading? I mean, I guess that's okay. Okay, I don't know. YAML... yeah, I don't know, we'll see. XML. Rich data validation. Yes, I like the schema robustness of XML. It can be explicitly defined in a DTD document, or whatever the other way of defining a YAML schema is. I can't remember what it's called. Adding complex attributes if you anticipate further customization. Yes. Mod ideal for detailed mod data store. I am so going down this road. I've already called this file producers.xml, and it's the way I feel like I'm going to end up landing on XML for this particular project. So we'll see what happens. Verbosity, yeah, sure, it's a little verbose, but does XML support, and it's got comments as well. So comments, especially in public situations and public mods, I think is quite important for people to be able to communicate to each other. I mean, in fact, XML, you could actually put comments in its own schema block, like in its own little block inside an object, and it would just get ignored by what doesn't need it. So it could literally be metadata in the actual objects itself. So support file import. Oops. The import, you can use the from XML linking. Now, what is that XML file? What file? I'm sure it does. Xlink is used to create hyperlinks. Good old W schools, eh? Is it like actually part of the spec? There is no browser support. Is it part of the XML specification? Is Xlink XML part of XML spec? XML, this specification, it does. Okay, it's actually part built in, so we can modularize our code. That, I need that. I need to be able to, because there's going to be so much data. Like I was looking at that other website that does the Satisfactory calculator, and the JSON file of the data is freaking massive. It is so huge. And like, I think just having modular files is far more human friendly. I don't know. I just like it. I just do like it. So again, that's another +1 for XML. So TOML, what does that stand for again? It's not like the other markup language or something, is it? I seem to remember reading that somewhere. Readable and simple, more concise. Okay, let's look at some TOML examples. Tom's obvious minimal language. Okay, I like that. That's better than what I said. Oh, it's like an ini file. Oh, it's like old MS-DOS configuration files when you're trying to change the sound card and graphics mode in Doom. I love that. Well, actually, like a lot of this looks like any Linux frickin' config file or something. Windows ini file. I don't know, like this is weird though. I don't think this is going to be the way I'm going to go, because if this is how you do nested stuff, key value pairs raised, inliners, integers, floats, TOML has blah blah blah, easy to read, maps unambiguously to a hash table, easy to pass. Limited adoption gaming, less tooling. That's not really explaining much to me about the cons, but anyway, domain-specific language, tailored to your needs. I mean, that's true. I could just make up my own schema. But nah. I reckon XML is the way to go here. Unfortunately, it's the one I'm the least familiar with, which is probably a good thing. That's what we call a learning curve. What we call working outside of your comfort zone to learn new stuff. Might be handy. Now, I know Dart has a pretty good XML package as well. Lightweight library. Yeah, see, that's got twice the likes. XML to JSON. Alright, let's do it. Let's friggin' commit. Let's go Flutter, pub, add, XML. Waiting. Beautiful. Okay. And let's create an XML file, or a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them. Let's bring up our sidebar here, and now how are we going to structure this stuff? So I reckon we got like items, and I think each item almost like So we have producers, resources, and logistics. Like these two here are kind of logistics, containers and logistic pathways. Now in game, logistic pathways are conveyor belts, and containers are just dumb storage with no other, they have no other limitations on them except for what they can actually hold. So, and satisfactory storage is really simple. It's just simply there is another thing, stacks I haven't thought about, because this can hold 1 2 3 3 6 7 8 24 stacks of items. So it's okay, 24 stacks of items. Well, okay. I'm glad I remember that now, actually. Well, we're not doing storage just yet, so, but I do need to definitely put in a placeholder here as well. And I'll do something really garish and disgusting. So, stacks. And then we'll make that like, we'll just have a bit of fun here for no particular reason. Make it like, make it like real LA style, like crazy. Right, there we go. Oh, what's a good text color that goes with green? How about a bright blue? Damn, going on in the background here. Don't know what it is. Some sort of DMCA free Top Gun synth, like. It's great. I'm wasting time. I'm literally procrastinating doing this. It is unnecessary. That looks sufficiently ugly for me to see it when I come back to it. Okay, we'll just save that. We'll get rid of it, and we'll get back into this producer list. Okay, so a producer has, it is an item, so it has what is called a name, and that name is, ooh, a stream bot. Away. First time chatter. Nice. I don't know if anyone is here, but, you know, how do I even, like, thanks Twitch, your mod button doesn't even work. I don't know if anyone's actually here. I'm just kind of practicing talking to myself on this channel. So, click to reply, pin this message. No, definitely not. Okay, this is annoying. Like, it's got this little shield, and I can't click the damn shield. I'm sure that's how you get mod actions. How can I ban this? Okay, maybe I'll just click on his name. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I can ban. Ban hammer coming down. Mod. No, definitely not. Ban. There we go. Goodbye. Bot. Not that it's going to make any difference, but, well, it will. I mean, if enough people ban them, that bot account will get closed, so will be. I think, Twitch just did a big cull of bot accounts recently. Kind of cool. Okay, so producer name, we're going to call this a miner Mark 1. I reckon we need also to, like, relate things together. So, so some random ideas. We had some random ideas here. So, randomness and harvesting. That's right. We've got, like, some items will be related to others as, like, upgrades. So, need to allow for that relationship somehow. Very specific. But I think it'd be like upgrades from or replaces or upgradable to or something like that, because in Satisfactory you can either upgrade an existing thing in place to the next version, or you can just build the next version and keep the old one. Like, it's a choice. So they exist as their own standalone item as well, but they are upgradable, so can be converted to or something like so like maybe can be converted to or upgrades to or something like that. Minor Mark 1. So description. I'm going to have to deal with null values. I'm going to have to deal with stuff that isn't there, so maybe we'll just put in the absolute minimal amount of data for now. Test.dart, here we go. Producer recipes. Okay, so a minor. So we're going to have like recipes for this minor. This is where it's going to start to get. This is where it's going to start to get pretty crazy. So we're going to go a recipe object, right? And then like this would be like schema equals something. So we could define the fact that this is actually a like Sanikey slash recipe object or something like that, which is really cool actually. I don't know if it's dot notation. I'm not sure how it's supposed to be, but yeah, that's actually quite cool. The fact that we can do that. I do like that. I'm pretty comfortable with the choice of XML for schema at the moment. So a producer can create one or more recipes. So let's just keep it simple for now. Let's just go any additional consumables required. Power. Power, that's what that was. I knew I put that in there for some reason. Fuel for a portable miner, or power for a fixed unit. Yes. Okay. I'm glad I remembered that. I hate it when you've done something and you're like, no, this is important, but I cannot remember. Sorry for the noise there. I cannot remember why. Alrighty. So, programming is also my day job, and writing mock data has to be one of the most frustrating enterprises and annoying enterprises that there are. If I had a database of real world data that I could depersonalize, that would be amazing, but alas, I do not. So we have to go with this. Recipes, consumables. So we'll just take care of the first layer now. I'm not super stoked about this code completion with XML. Like, it should be doing the closing brackets itself and all that sort of stuff. Like, maybe I should try. I could try this Red Hat one and see if it's any better. I mean, Red Hat, come on. I mean, it's got to be good, right? Right? Let's just uninstall that one for now. Red Hat improve its... Nah, not today, I usually do, but not on this account. The reason for blocking a custom text editor is open. Just let me do my work. I could just close VS Code and open it again. Actually, that's the quickest way around this. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're in XML language mode. Dark code has been updated 3.1. Nice. Read about that tomorrow. Downloading Codium. Superpowers activated. Right. Enable for XML. Alright. See what the... Whoa, what happened there? Did it just close down? Uh-oh. Please don't crash. Yeah, I've already read those. Okay. Well, let's see if Codium works with XML and can help me with this horrible task of... This horrific task of generating... What the hell? Oh, that's the... okay, that's the Red Hat one. That's really nice, actually. I like that. And that's Codium trying to do its thing as well. So, okay, this could be fortuitous. This could be good. We're going to call it a Smelter Mark 1. I'm pretty sure there is only one version of smelters here. So, let's have a look. A movement. Smelter? Yeah, I think there is. I think there's actually only one. So, cool. All right. Makes life simple. Description. Let's put a description in this one. So we'll go processes iron ore to produce iron ingots. That's what that does. Let's give our docs some nice formatting there. We'll go recipes. Here we go. This is why we like AI. Sometimes, I mean, that's I love it. Just that boilerplate crap that you'd have to write any other way. So inputs. Let's have a look and see if it's done this right and actually referred to the other file. So we've got recipe. We've got inputs. Yep, and we got a recipe input. Which is cool, and we've got an item, and we've got a rate, and what I should also do is we created this time unit thing, so required this per, and that will be time unit per. I don't know why I didn't pick that up, but anyway, whatever. Recipe output, same deal here, time unit per. Let's see if it picks it up in this file. Good try, AI. Good try, bot. So what we could do here is... I wonder how you define enums in XML, actually. I need to look that up. Enums in XML. How do you do this? How do you do an enum in XML? There we go. Somebody else has asked the question. Of course they have. You're never the first. Let's see. You can create your own types. Bush can. Type, schema, element, target namespace, simple type, operating system version. Restriction. So this is that other XML format, which is to define schemas, not DTD, but it's S enumeration, value equals none. Okay, so for now I could just... I want to see it used though. Like, how do you use there? How do you use the enum in the... How do you get the value? Oh, for God's sakes. Who cares what I'm trying to say? Creating a dialect file. Enums are defined here. Okay. I'm just going to guess. Like soon. I just can't... Just way too impatient to actually learn this properly right now. I'll do it another time. Optical flow unit sensor name field type. Okay, so enums entry value 1 enum name, creating an enum, modifying an enum. What about using an enum? Goodness sakes. I'm just gonna... go per... I wonder if it's a self-closing thing. So if I wonder if you can go like Saniki dot time unit value equals like second. Like that. I wonder if that's how you do it. That would kind of make sense. Anyway, it's not 1 unit per second that a miner does. It is like 30 per minute. Yeah. I knew that. Such a satisfactory nerd. Per minute. There we go. There we go. So then somehow we're going to have to create a crawler to load up this XML file and sort of instantiate like a memory database of all of this stuff, all of these classes, like load it in, and also release these objects as we don't need them anymore to save memory usage, because having them all there at once, oh. Yeah, no, yeah, anyway, anywho. I know what I'm talking about. Saniki consumable, which is a item. So this is in a producer, and the producer is... Now this is interesting because I think, oh no, maybe I should do a UI. Maybe I should do a really simple UI in Flutter for this. I was going to do a command line, just test it out, but I reckon UI's easier. I'm lost again. Producer, miner mark 1. Okay, here we go. So this inputs can be null. So we just don't need to define inputs. So we can just go straight to outputs. And one of these will be iron ore. Oh, I got that round the wrong way, didn't I? Yeah, dork, that can do 30 a minute. And then this requires, so this produces 30 a minute. And that gets fed into the smelter producer, which takes 30 iron ore per minute as an input. Amount per minute. And it outputs iron ingots at a rate of 30 per minute. Right, okay, so this is where, okay, this is why I needed to do this, because I'm actually missing a step in between. So this is good. This is, so what it does is it produces it in batches of 7 every 2 seconds. So is there any way that I can... There is actually a way I can do that already with XML, with the beauty of XML. This is great. Except that's not going to map into my data model here that well. So, although I've got an idea for that. Recipe output, iron ingot. So we're going to go 7 per. Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't even need this amount. Maybe I could just do... Maybe I could just... Maybe I could... what's the best way to do this? Nominal rate and modifiers. So the rate is actually a production rate. Rate isn't actually just a number. Rate's actually another class. So I'm trying to think of the significance of the fact that this is 2 per second, 30 per minute. I mean, sorry, 7 per 2 seconds. That makes sense, right? Like if I bring up a calculator here and I go 7 every 2 seconds. No, that's it. Something. Production rate 30 per minute. What does this mean? I gotta look that up. I don't even know what that means. I've just assumed I knew what that means. I actually don't. Satisfactory machine interface. Have a look. There should be some nice diagrams around here somewhere. My Google game is not being strong right now. Okay, so this is what I want to know. Here we go. Producing 1 ore every 2 seconds. Oh, 1 per. Okay. And I'm an idiot. So I know exactly what that 7 means. It means that there's 7 in there, so I can click on that and I can take 7 out. Okay. Nice work. So sarcastic with myself. Okay. Moving on. Moving right along. 2 per second. No. 1 per 2 seconds. So that's 30 per minute, right? So we'll go back to this again. It's kind of like a common denominator thing, I guess. It's like we've got no way to define 2 per second, so we have to define 30 per minute, which is equivalent. I do wonder if that's going to cause a problem later, though, because it's not the same. Like, it is the same, but it isn't. It's the same number, but I don't know, overthinking it again, I think. I hope that it's not going to cause issues later. So we've got a miner, we have it producing an output, and then of 30 per minute. And so what this recipe needs as well is inputs. Oh, that needs no inputs because that just comes from the earth, right? So that doesn't need any inputs at all. Now the smelter, we have inputs required of iron ore 30 per minute. So this is really basic. This is a really basic test that we're going to go for here. We've listed it as a consumable. I don't actually need consumables right now, so it needs power, so we could talk about power here. So we could go item power is 4 megawatts. So like, how do we do an absolute thing? It's not really a rate. It's just it's like a static requirement that this thing in order to produce at this rate, needs 4 megawatts of power all the time while it's producing. How am I going to determine that as a consumable? Because I think I said a consumable is an item. I didn't finish consumables, probably because, yeah, I remember questioning myself about that at the time, actually. So a recipe has recipe inputs. So really a consumable could almost be like a recipe input. Maybe a recipe input is a consumable. Maybe this extends consumable. Programming is weird sometimes. Like, I listen to myself talking and I'm like, what the hell are you on about? And I just know in 10 or 20 years, like, what I'm doing here is going to be like, oh my god, you had to type in code manually? That's crazy. Because we will literally just be talking to computers and saying, oh, can you make something that does this? And yeah, and then it will do that at some point. So all these are going to change to super parameters because they're going to be contained in the consumable itself. So because it extends consumable, so these are super parameters. In the super class, world's nerdiest hero. What have I done? Why is this? Oh, okay. I know what I've done. Yeah, do that. That's right. Okay, required this per item, blah, 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 blah. Semicolon that off. So now it looks like we're going to be saying that recipe inputs are consumables. Does this make sense? It does. It implements, maybe that should be an interface. Maybe this should be, should it be an interface where we just go implements consumability or implements consumable instead of, and then we define item rate and per on the recipe input, but like consumability has like methods that must be implemented. So even if it's not something which uses items, like power in the game is not really an item. It is. You produce power. You create power. Essentially is an item, but it's not storable. It kind of is storable. Oh my god, I don't. Oh man, this is confusing. I don't know. Too many decisions to make that need to be right early on always scares me when you're starting a new project. It's like, oh, it's wild. All right, I think we keep it simple. In the end, go back to the KISS principle, right? Keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, Stefan. That's what it really means to me. So let's keep it simple. Let's not worry about this. Yeah, let's just keep it as extends. So let's have a consumable thing. Consumables can either be used as a recipe input, or a consumable can be standalone. It can be its own thing that doesn't belong to a recipe necessarily. It's not part of a recipe, because machines can have multiple recipes, right? But but the machines in Satisfactory all require power. I guess you could say that's part of the recipe, but it's not really, because the power is independent of the recipe. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It's nice to have this extra interface in case we need it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go, what have I done here? Sorry, podium. We're going to go power. And we're going to go 4. And we're going to create a new enum. We're going to create a new, I love enums. Enums are amazing. We enum, and we're going to call it power unit. And we're going to call it megawatts, kilowatts, watts, milliwatts, microwatts. Sure. We'll roll with that for now. And we'll go to do add more. Yeah, thanks. We'll get it to copy the code that we've got down the bottom here. I'm pretty sure this 80s synthwave song that's on now is like the smoothest 80s rickroll. Is it even that song? It is that song, isn't it? Microwatts. Int get base. Yeah, well, okay. Good one, AI. That is not an integer. I could do a double, but I want to keep it kind of the same here. So perhaps we go 1 microwatt. Maybe we go that way. No. So megawatts is 1,000,000 watts. And so there's 1,000. So let's just do this step by step. 1,000 milliwatts in a watt. Okay. So yeah, we need to go from big to small. So we're going to go 1 megawatt is equal to 1,000 kilowatts, which is equal to 1,000,000 watts, right? Yeah, times by 1,000. And this has just got another 3 zeros on the end of it. And this has got another 3 zeros on the end of it. Is that right? Why is it offering me more zeros? Oh, there we go, okay. Cool. Get it to write me the available power units in the app with some helper methods. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Code commenting there. Get the number of watts in this power unit. No, get the number. What have I done? What this means is 1 megawatt is 1 trillion. Okay, let's do something easy. 1 megawatt is 1,000,000 watts. Okay, so get the number of watts. This doesn't make any sense. What am I even trying to do here? Like, what am I saying? Like, get the number of, oh my god, get the number of power units in this power unit. So if I asked for microwatts, what am I actually saying? This is round the wrong way. This is completely round the wrong way. Yeah, I knew that didn't make sense. Brain did not compute. I wonder about my brain sometimes. Get the number of power unit dot microwatts in this power unit. Now this is going to be get the multiplier to convert this power unit to the given power unit. So let's take an example here. I've got 1 watt, okay? I've got 1 watt and I want to convert it into right. Okay. I see how this is working now. I see how this is working. Let's see if it actually makes sense. Let's follow along. So what it's saying is we instantiate an enum of a watt. Okay. So 1 watt equals a base unit of 1,000,000. Okay. So that is that's there. So we're going to divide the wanted power unit's base factor by 1,000,000, which isn't going to work, I think, because if we ask for microwatts, no, that's, oh my god, Oh, my brain's too tired for this right now. This is so simple. This is so easy. But this is programming. This is programming when you've got the most basic unit conversion right in front of your face and you can't work it out because your brain's just spinning around in circles, ellipses, whatever. 4-dimensional shapes. We need to work this out though. We do. So 1 megawatt equals 1,000,000 trillion, or whatever the frick that number is. There's 100 million, 100 billion, 1 trillion, 1 trillion. 1 trillion billion squillion bajillion dollars. Great movie, those Austin Powers movies. I haven't watched them in a long time. Need to do a marathon at some point. Back on track, back on the train. I should probably get another drink of wine, which might carry me through and give me a break and get me to stretch my legs. I can actually think properly. Imagine that, drinking wine to think properly. I'm not an alcoholic, I swear. I'm not, actually. So let's say we had a watt. So we want to know, we want to get the conversion of watts to I want to go down. I want to go to milliwatts. Let's say that for now. So, watt base unit is 1,000,000, 1,000, 1,000,000. Milliwatts, microwatts. Okay. Milliwatt base unit is 1,000 microwatts. So the result, I'm not going to trust the friggin' AI here. It's confusing. It's sometimes I wish that, like, there must be a quick keyboard toggle to turn off AI suggestions, because sometimes it just totally throws. It's my one biggest gripe about AI code assistants, which is probably easily solvable by myself. That you're trying to think through something and you start typing and then it goes ahead and chucks a whole bunch of shit in front of you and totally derails your train of thought. That is my one gripe about them. They have generally greatly improved my productivity with coding. But, yeah. Anywho, so we are going to take the desired power unit, which is desired milliwatts, and we're going to divide that by the current. Which is what this is ridiculous. I'm having to go to this kind of extreme to work this out. This is so stupid. Such a waste of time. And that makes sense. Why was I worried that it was coming back as a double? Oh. Okay. Moving on. Yet that ever happened. That was ridiculously difficult. So, okay. So we've got 4 item consumable. Item is power. Amount is 4. This is the other thing. So like I've got this here, right? So we need to uniquely identify items somehow. So by just putting iron ingot here, we're basically instantiating, it's kind of instantiating a new item. We can't say this because this is not an item. Like this is a string. So really what that should be is that. Standard key item where name equals iron ingot, right? And that'll be a self-closing tag. That's how we should be. That's how we should be doing this. So we should have unique item names. I think that's okay. Unique item names makes sense. We could have a unique identifier like a UID instead on the back end. But if we use the name as a unique identifier, I don't know. Is that a good idea or not? I'm not sure yet. It doesn't really matter right now. So let's go and convert all of these over to what they should be. So Tanaki.item name, produce a list, and we're gonna see schema. I don't even know if this is how you're supposed to do it. If you're supposed to say what schema you're following in each tag, probably. I think it makes sense. Like, yeah, recipe user. So like this recipe here could be referred. I'm wondering if I should replace all these with uppercase because they're objects, right? And then the properties are lowercase. I think that makes sense. It's kind of the same as the actual coding itself. So recipe input, that's what that's supposed to be, recipe input. Now, what is the point of having that and that? I guess that's the name, that's the tag name, and that's the schema we're following. So, like, this could be a recipe input, but this could be like version 1, 2, or 3, right? But it's still called a recipe input. So I suppose that's why it's not really redundant. It's just I'm not using it as deeply as I possibly could. And that's fine. That's fine by me. The recipe output. And then we're going to have a I don't know if recipes, because that's actually a property. It's not a it's not an object. Why is that complaining? Because I didn't do that. Produce a list. I mean, that could just be producers, right? Nah, yeah. Available producers, I don't know. Whatever. Producer definition or something like that. Producer. Anyway. Do one last check over here, one last little sanity check for myself to make sure I've done this properly. Recipe output, so that's supposed to be recipe output as well, right? Sanity time unit. Yep. I think I can't see anything wrong with this at the moment, except for that one as well, which is another thing. Setting key iron name, power amount, and we'll also have fuel as well. Like fuel will be another thing, and we'll say per key, and this is okay. This is cool. So this is where my scheme is starting to actually work and take shape. I like it. So we'll call that power unit, right? And then the value of the power unit, which is a schema we can define elsewhere as an enumeration, is going to be in megawatts. And then we can close that off. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy with this. So what I've got here is enough to instantiate a producer, which is an item with a name and a description, and a recipe, which takes an input at a rate and produces an output at a rate while consuming an amount of power at a certain rate. I don't know. I think that's I think we're on I think we're on something. I think we're on something here. So what I'm going to do is try and load up this XML object now somehow. So let's figure out how to use this XML package. I almost feel like I want to run around here for a bit longer and just see a couple of things. I've got so many, like, I could see so many ways this app could develop, and I want to keep it open sourced. So, like, it's definitely going to be open sourced, and I have not done any work on this channel towards promoting the repo or anything. I've done no promotion on this channel. This channel is brand new. Told some of my viewers from my other channel, but that's for games, not for this. Alright. Hello, puppy. Oh, there's a cave. Ooh. Ooh, hello. No shit. I've never seen a cave in Satisfactory before. Ooh. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh, yeah. I got arachnophobia mode on. I love it. I love it. Okay, this is awesome. What the heck? Oh man, I gotta mark this on my map while I'm here. Wow, I'm glad I came in the game at that point. Awesome. The freaking cave. Is there a good... Yeah, there is. There's actually a cave marker. We'll just mark it as a cave and we'll go back and explore at some point. Awesome. Okay, my factory is... Yeah, right. It's getting a bit crammed downstairs. You run out of space so fast. It is just wild how quickly you run out of space. I mean, in terms of coding, like, I mean, the stuff I'm coding right now, like, the developers of this game had to code at some point, and then so much more. It is just such a complex game, and to keep it running smoothly, and hearing about some of the optimizations that they did to keep this... I mean, this is a tiny, tiny, tiny factory. This is, like, right at the start of the game. Some people's factories are just out of this world. Huge. And the fact the game engine has to keep a track of all that production with all that complexity on thousands and thousands and thousands of machines and update it in real time every second while drawing this graphics and the world around and dealing with multiplayer and all sorts of other stuff. Oh, genius. Love it. That is programming art right there. Anyway, fluff their programming team up enough, I think so. Let's go and talk about this. Let's talk about this XML package. Here we go. So how do we do it? So we define some XML document.parse string input. Right. So what we want to do is load XML from a file first. So we need import Dart.io. Is there a way we can just import Dart.io? Like, odd. There we go. Thanks, Codium. Appreciate it. Right, now we're gonna load the XML file. File libdata producers. Is that right? Is that where we saved it? Libdata producers is. Amazing. Read as string synchronous. Yeah, we don't want to worry about asynchronous programming right now. And then we're going to go, we'll just call it var for now. Var parsed XML equals XML called XML document. XML document dot parse XML, and then we're just going to print it, and it's probably not going to know how to print it because that won't be JSON serializable. So what if we just go dot I mean okay. Oh, let's just go string for now. Let's go value. Let's do that. Go into the terminal. Let's run test.dart and hello world null. I don't think that's correct. I do not think it is correct. I think our file loading didn't work. Because, yeah, because stuff and things. And our debugging isn't working either. So this is why I've got to run it in a Flutter app, okay? Because debugging ain't working. Dart debug. lib/test.dart. I think that works. I think that does it, right? No? Oh, I thought you could do that. What about dart run? Could not find bin/sanity dart. Okay. Dart. I never use dart by itself. This is a new thing for me. I've always done it through Flutter because what I needed. DevTools, doc, fix, format, info. Not what I want, verbose. How do you debug Dart then? How to debug? How to debug Dart. Dart in Visual Studio Code. It doesn't have first... Oh, what? Okay. Right now, it's simple. Use the following configuration. Program web index. I'm not using index.html. What? You serious? It doesn't... You can't do it? Run DevTools. I just want to... I've just got pure Dart. Okay, I'm just running a pure Dart script in the command line in VS Code. I want to debug it. How do I do this? Terrible prompt. Okay, configure a launch configuration. Yes, that makes sense. All right, yeah, type Dart, blah, blah, blah. Ensure the program file entry is present. It will launch the currently open file for debugging. Set breakpoints, start debugging. All right, let's see if she's correct. Let's go to run and debug. Let's create a launch JSON file and let's create it in... What workspace are we in? Yeah, let's create it in the workspace. So it's portable and it carries across workspace, and we will go folders, settings, launch, and configurations. No. Get rid of that. Go. Yeah. Debug Dart code, current file, main test.dart. There we go. Let's try. Well, test.dart on Edge. No. What? Oh, fine. Who cares? I'm not going to be doing this for long anyway. It looks like you can't do it. I mean, from that little soiree, yeah, it just simply looks like you can't do it. So that's exactly what somebody who couldn't figure out how to do it would say. Oh, look, okay. It loaded the file. So why did it not pass? It is the responsibility of the caller to provide a standard Dart string. Returns an XML document for the given input string or throws an XML parser exception if the input is invalid. Okay, so like, how do you define a root key for XML then? That's probably what it's not. Maybe what it's not finding. Yes, that's right. We haven't actually said that this document is XML. So, fair enough, I guess. Fair enough. How to use. I knew that. And I did know that. XML version 1. Syntax. XML documents must have a root element. the XML prologue is optional if it exists. Maybe it's not optional. Maybe it's not optional for this package. So we should put it in there. Let's keep trying stuff until it works. Beautiful. Returns the value of the node. Oh. Wait, what? Root element. Oh. My bad. It was probably working the whole time. Nope. Hey, there we go. That's better. That's better. Okay, so XML name. So let's figure out what this XML gives us. Like, what do we get here? So that's a producer list. Okay, so we need some sort of a class to tag the mapping to build this hierarchy. So we're going to need some kind of XML, like we're going to need some sort of our own parser. So once we've got the raw XML document, we're going to need something which can develop a what do we call it? Like a production tree or something. Let's call it a, just for now, let's call it a production tree. I can change that name later. Production tree. And we'll open that and we'll say list of okay. Production tree, we'll just put a blank constructor in there, but what we're going to do is we're going to go production tree dot from XML document, right? And then we're going to go XML document, XML document. And then we're going to have a static method, a private static method called load tree from XML document, right? And what that's going to do is it's going to go, we're going to have a list maybe this should map to that. Maybe it should be, or like producers or something like that. And we go list producer. And then we can do the same from like load from, so it's actually going to be load from XML node. It's actually going to be load from yeah, okay. I've got a vague idea of how we're going to do this. XML node. Load tree from XML node. And that's going to be, oh, maybe it's not called node. Maybe it's XML element. Yeah, whatevs. Whoops. Oopsies. Oh, come on. Help me out a bit better than that. Load tree from XML element. So what we need to do is go assert that the XML element excuse me? the type of the right operand isn't a subtype of the left operand. XML name dot so do I use toString or local? What the hell is local? Is there any way to know? Return the local name excluding the namespace prefix. Okay. Yeah, alright. Well, that's kind of what I want, actually. So we want to make sure that we are being given a producer list element out of the XML before we do anything. So that's going to throw an error if it isn't. And this isn't how you write constructors. Or is it? Oh my god. My brain. Now I'm doubting myself. The frick? I'm XML code. Is that how you do name constructors? It's not a static method, that is a constructor. But that's not how you do it. I'm sure that's not how you freaking do it. Oh no, that is a constructor body. This is the constructor body. So we get given whatever for child and XML element children. We're going to go if the child name var XML element children XML node list T. So what we need to do is go XML node list of type T. What? I don't think that's how you do it. That's not how you do it, is it? No. And the direct children of this node in document order. So maybe we need to go. But I've said that should be that. Maybe I need to define it here. Maybe it's we need to go XML node list XML element, right? Yeah, I didn't think so. As? Is that not a type? What do you mean it's not a type? Oh, must implement it.